We're going to play a deck that I thoroughly dislike, but for some reason is really, really good and performed super well at Salt Lake City. Hey, Nick from 9Card TCG, and today we are going to be looking at Regigigas. Now, before we go any further, yes, I know gift energy is bugged on PTCGO. It's unfortunate, so the list we're using would normally have gift energy, but it doesn't, so we substituted gift energy for just a couple of different energies. I know it's not going to give you the full effect of the deck and how good it could actually be, but it's the best we can do at the moment. So it's unfortunate, but I still want to show the deck because it just did so well at this past weekend in Salt Lake City. How well? Well, 4 of the top 8 decks were Regigigas, which is crazy to me. Regi, of all things, a deck that I think when initially shown, people thought was just a meme kind of deck. It's like a fun, let's go play something different. And it actually is super, super good for the meta. Regigigas, who would have thought, right? Not us, right? Not this guy. That was not exactly a Forgetting Sarah Marshall reference, but if you know what the scene I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, if you haven't already, do me a favor, like, subscribe, comment, and all that kind of stuff. That tells YouTube this is a good channel. Other people should watch it. This list is the 60 that Azul played to 4th place in Salt Lake City. So congratulations to Azul for doing super well. I mean, it's not really much of a surprise. It's Azul. However, if you want to see the full deck list, if you're gonna see it in the video, but I do have the deck list in the video description as well as a link to Azul's Twitter. So go check all that out, and let's head over to PTCGO. Take a look at this deck list. The deck is called Regigigas, even though you use Regigigas in one of 2 ways. Ancient Wisdom is your ability once during a turn. If you have all the other Regis, Regirock, Regice, Registeel, Regieleki, and Regidrago in play, then you may attach up to 3 energy cards from your discard to one of your Pokemon. It doesn't say it has to be basic energies, it just says energy. So this deck uses a ton of special energies. We also get to accelerate 3 of them to a single Pokemon. So you can't split them up. All 3 have to go to one Pokemon. And then you have Gigaton Break for 5 colorless energies. It does 150 damage, but if your opponent's active is a V max, it does an additional 150, which means with the Choice Belt, you're taking a one-shot on pretty much every single V max. You have a retreat cost of 4, and that kind of stinks, but you know what? This deck is going to rely mostly on things like Scoop Up Nets to get you out of the active, so it's really not that big of a deal. Regidrago is also super, super important for this deck because of the Dragon's Horde ability. Once during a turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may draw until you have 4 cards in your hand. You can only use 1 Dragon Horde ability each turn, which means if you have 2 Regidragos in play, 1 is in the active and 1 is on the bench. If you use Dragon Horde from the Pokemon from the Regidrago in the active, and then you switch into another Regidrago, or you Scoop Up Net the Regidrago and then re-bench it, put it into the active, you cannot use Dragon's Horde again. The card specifically says you can't use more than 1 each turn. So it's not like Flower Selecting on Comfey. So don't think that if you reset it by either moving it to back to the hand or using a different Regidrago, you can continuously Dragon Horde. You won't be able to. Giant Fang, Grass Fire, colorless, hit for 160. It's a pretty decent attack. Moving on to Regirock. This is really good for the Zoroark matchup. It's really good for the Arceus matchups. Giga Impact does 140 for double fighting colorless. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack, whatever. It's probably going to get counter KO the next turn anyway, so we don't care that much. But 140 times 2 is 280, which is enough to knock out Arceus or Zoroark, unless they have Dunsparce in play. If they have Dunsparce, you are going to be taking a 2-shot, and that gets a little tricky because both Arceus and Talion decks and Zoroark decks sometimes run Sharon's Care, so that means you're never really knocking out one of those Pokemon. It's a little annoying, but if they don't have a Dunsparce, you're in pretty good shape. This list runs 2 different Regielekis. The one from Astral Radiance that no one really uses is, well, this one. Electromagnetic Sonar lets you put a trainer card from your discard pile into your hand, which means we can get any trainer, supporter, stadium, item, tool, whatever we need from our discard back into our hand. Very powerful attack, however, with a fair amount of disruption going on in the format in the form of Marnie Roxanne. It might not stick all the time, but it's still a pretty good option, especially early game. Targeted Bolt lets you just discard 2 lightning energy from this Pokemon, and then it does 120 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Obviously, if they have a Manaphy in play, you're not going to be able to hit the bench, but whatever. It's really good for taking out opposing Cramorants before they're able to come in. Good for softening up V-Stars. It's good for taking out Comfeys, Drizziles, things like that. It's a really, really solid attack if you can pull it off, and because they don't have Manaphy. The other Regieleki is the one you are pretty commonly seen using from Evolving Skies with the Terror Spark attack. 2 lightning and a call. It does 120 to the active, discard all lightning energy from this Pokemon, and it does 40 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Again, assuming Manaphy's not in play, but a lot of decks are running Manaphy because of the popularity of things like Radiant Greninja and also Regieleki, which can do snipe damage. Registeel Heavy Slam does 220 damage, however, it does 50 less for each colorless in your opponent's active retreat cost. So you hit something like Kyurem, which I think has a retreat cost of 3, so you're doing 220 minus 150, which is really, really bad. You're only hitting for 70 damage at that point, and then 70 times 2 is 140, so you're still 3-shotting unless you have like a Choice Belt, but yeah, it's not very good in that kind of scenario. So Heavy Slam, not the greatest attack, but it can get some work in. And then the last Regi is Reg Ice with the Blizzard Bind Double Water Colorless 100. However, if the defending Pokemon is a Pokemon V, it can attack during your opponent's next turn. So this is really important for dealing with things like Kyurem or things like Arceus, Palkia. As long as they can't retreat to the bench and then come back up, then Blizzard Bind is a pretty viable strategy. That's it for all the Regis. Now we do have a bunch of trainers. We have Heavy Ball to help find a Regi out of the prizes. We have some Ordinary Rods to recover Regis. Pal Pad to find a supporter. And then our Pokemon search is Quick Ball, Ultra Ball. Really useful because it gets us to discard energy, so we can get them into the discard, which I already just said, so that we can use Ancient Wisdom on the Regigigas. Trekking Shoes is another way to dig through the deck and also discard energies at the same time. We have Scoop Up Net so that we can pivot through our Pokemon, which is very, really important. Path to the Peak, very important trainer, very important stadium card because of Empoleon. We need to be able to turn off Empoleon's Emperor Eye's ability so that we can use Regigigas and Regidrago's abilities and actually play the game. So that's kind of annoying. This list does not run something like Escape Ropes or Boss. So if that Empoleon's in the active, it's going to stick unless you get a Path to the Peak in play, and then you can start doing some stuff. We do also have an Air Balloon and a bunch of Choice Belts. Yell Horn. Yell Horn is a new card in here. It's mainly to deal with the Ice Cube because it prevents basic Pokemon from attacking. So we can use Yell Horn to prevent Ice Cube from doing its attack. And now we can, once it doesn't attack, we can hit into it and take a KO because we have Scoop Up Nets and we can easily retreat our active Pokemon and then just send up something else, attach 3 energies to it with Ancient Wisdom, and we can attack. It's a pretty useful card. We can also get this back with Electromagnetic Sonar on the Regieleki so that we can continuously use it over the course of the game as needed. It also helps with things like Goodra, for example. Goodra is really, really annoying to deal with this deck because it does not have weakness and it tanks so much damage. So you're really never doing enough damage to the Goodra, and they are constantly knocking out your Regis. So Yell Horn could be a good way to try to stall out a Goodra, at least enough where you're able to put some good chip damage on it. It takes some damage from Confusion. It doesn't take the damage reduction now. So Is it the best play against Goodra? It's not, but it's honestly better than nothing. As far as energy goes, we do have 2 Twin Energy. We have 4 Aurora Energies, which force us to discard a card from our hand to play. However, it provides all energies at the same time except only one of them. Now, an interesting ruling that I feel like I should mention, you have something like Terra Spark that says discard all lightning energy from this Pokemon if you have 2 speed lightning energies and an Aurora energy. When you use Terra Spark, you will discard all 3 energies because technically Aurora energy is providing a lightning energy while it's attached. So because it's providing a lightning energy, you have to discard it as part of Terra Spark's effect. So something to keep in mind there. Normally, we would only have a 2 Capture Energy and a 2 Speed Lightning Energy, and those other 2 spots would be for 2 Gift Energies. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it is bugged, so we can't use it in PTCGO. I've been talking about this deck way too long. Let's go and see how it does. We'll go ahead, call the coin flip. We're going to go Tails. Tails never fails. I'm actually going to go second with this deck. Now, I'm not particularly experienced with Regis, so, you know, I don't know exactly how this will go. Just trying to play some games, kind of show you how it works a little bit. We do have a pretty decent hand here, and we're playing against Mew, which, you know, isn't terrible, but they do have Max Miracle and things like Psychic Leap. Psychic Leap can be really annoying after we put a bunch of damage onto a Mew. They just go right back into the discard, but we have Regigigas to take the one-shot on it. So you really want to attack with Regigigas in this matchup. That's where those Twin Energies come into play, and that is super good to see. So we can get a Twin Energy and plus 2 others attached for turn, and we are set. So what I want to do is I want to like Quick Ball this Twin Energy, maybe Quick Ball our top deck depending on what it is, and then I can get a Capture Energy onto like this Regigigas, and then get another Regi. So now we have 4 in play, 5 if we use our second Quick Ball. I can go ahead and path depending on how many cards they actually discard right now, or how many cards they have in hand when we end our turn. This is a pretty good time to path to the Peak and not Marnie them. So we'll Capture Energy. I'm probably not going to be able to get an attack off this turn. You might prize some Pokemon. You might prize some of your Regis, and if you are as unfortunate as I just was to prize 2 of the same, you're in a lot of trouble. It's not great. Now, they might have a Pumpkaboo, which could be kind of annoying. They don't, which is good. At least they didn't get it. They might just pass here, if depending on what that card is. It's a Pokemon catcher. They flip heads. It doesn't really matter what they bump up. All the Regis, with the exception of the Evolving Skies Regis, have a retreat cost of 2, and then Regigigas has a retreat cost of 3. Now, I am going to attach the Choice Belt here, and I'm going to discard my hand. I don't want to because it's like all my path to the peaks, but I really, really need to try and find what's it called? I need to find like a heavy ball. A Speed Lightning Energy can be pretty good, because we can draw a couple of cards. Oh, because it only works if I attach it to a Lightning Pokemon. Duh, I'm stupid. Well, we'll go ahead and pass. We have another Research. Can't do anything. I mean, I can slowly build to a manual attachment and then start attacking, but like, we can Aurora Energy, a Regieleki. We have 3 Ordinary Rods, so I'm kind of okay getting rid of this other Gigas. No. I need... Oh my god, why can I not find anything? Can't find anything. I'm going to put the Air Balloon onto this Regieleki, and we're just going to pass. This is so painful. Because our opponent's not doing anything either, and this would be pretty solid if we could just find a Regice. We'd be in a pretty decent spot. I'm already down to 16 cards in deck because I just have to constantly research all my hand away and like draw with the Trekking Shoes and just find nothing. I'm gonna Ordinary Rod. I'm gonna get the Gigas and... because I only need 2 Gigas, and I'll get the other Leki. So I guaranteed have them. I guess I'll attach the speed there so I can draw some stuff. There's a heavy ball, finally. We'll get the Regice. My goodness. And from here, what do I have in the discard? I have an Aurora and a... Aurora and a Twin. I don't want to attack with the Regigigas. So what I can do is Ultra Ball away this Aurora. Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball. Get rid of those 2. We'll find the Drago in case they attack next turn. We'll go ahead, attach a Choice Belt. We will Ancient Wisdom the 2 and the Twin, that's fine, all to this Regidrago, because now with the Choice Belt, it'll do 190 to knock out this Genesect over here. And now we can drag its Horde, draw 2 cards, can't hurt. Can't hurt. And then we will Giant Fangs for the KO, which is really nice. So 190 is a pretty decent number to hit there. So now they can come in and attack. Unless they get like a godly top deck, they're not going to be doing too much. Crushing Hammer, I don't really care. Because I can just use Regigigas' ability to accelerate that energy right back. Does not really matter what energy they choose. Because I could just manually retreat this Regidrago. Yeah. And this actually has free retreat at this point. So it's okay to send this thing up. And we have the Regidrago, like we expected we would need. We get the Twin. That's 4, 5. It does not matter at this point. We'll put them all onto the Regigigas. We can retreat, go back into our Gigas. I might as well Heavy Ball to get this out of the prizes. Just so that if they do hit me with the Marnie, it's in the deck. And I'm going to Ordinary Rod again. The Gigas and the Drago. Because I have a Leki in hand, so I don't need that one. This way, again, if I get hit with the Marnie or something, there's a chance that I can draw into him. And now we can Gigaton break for the KO. So, down to just a single prize, which is great. We get a Scoop Up Net that is a very nice prize to pick up. Another Twin Energy and an Aurora Energy. So, we're looking pretty solid. With the research of Scoop Up Net, I mean, they might not even be able to attack. And there's the concession. Path to the Peak, really the star of the show there. And I think, honestly, that is enough to show Reggie's. It was quick game. It was, you know, even though we were kind of had some bad, unfortunate draws. That is a very real possibility with Regis, that you can play supporter after supporter after supporter and just not find what you need because you are relying on pure draw. You have very, very little search outside of like your Pokemon search options. So sometimes you can hit some rough spots where you just can't find energies, you can't find your Pokemon search, you can't find whatever it is you need. Sometimes you do just miss, which is unfortunate. However, because of things like Path to the Peak and the fact that we are a single prize deck, we can kind of overcome some of the brickiness if it's not too persistent or pervasive in that, like, we're just so far behind in the prize trade that there's no way for us to catch up anymore, that there is always that chance for a comeback thanks to how strong the Regis can hit, and it's pretty decent. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative. If you did, again, like, subscribe, comment, go check out Azul's content, because that obviously top 4 Salt Lake City doing really well with Regis, so can tell you or show you how to play it way better than I can. But I just wanted to highlight the deck here because I do think, unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of single prize decks, and so anytime one is really good or prominent, a lot of people do really like it. I'm just not one of them. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching. I did all of this already. I will see you next time.